Today we're going to start learning about a type of poetic form called enjambment. Before we begin, I'm going to teach you a little song that I made up that helps my students remember what enjambment is. When we're finished with the song, I will go through the definition and give you some examples. So the song is taken from the tune of a Bob Marley song, and it goes like this. Enjambment, flowing from one line to the next. Enjambment. Without it, it don't make sense. Enjambment. So let's find out exactly what that song means. Enjambment is when a sentence in a line of poetry doesn't finish at the end of the line, but spills over into the next line. For example, I dropped into third and leant across to let him out and saw him in the mirror bouncing off the curb. If you notice in that first line, you need more information in order to continue with the poem. So why does a person use enjambment? It adds to the tone of the writing and sometimes adds suspense or other emotions. So let me clarify a little bit more by showing you what is not enjambment and giving you an example of exactly what is enjambment. This poem is not enjambment. If you notice at the end of each sentence, you have an end stop, a question mark at the end of the first, a period at the end of the second, and so on. Each of these sentences is a complete thought. It leaves the reader knowing exactly what's happening within that sentence. However, enjambment is when it's not a complete thought at the end of the sentence, when the line cannot stand alone and can't make sense without the following line. Drop down to where it says example. Excuse me. If you notice, the first line is not enjambment. Why? Notice that there's a period at the end of the line. A thing of beauty is a joy forever. I understand that line. I don't need to read anymore to understand what's happening in that sentence. However, please look at line number 2. Its loveliness increases. It will never. It will never what? I need to know more. I need to understand what's happening. What will never? So I need to continue to the next line. This is enjambment. There's not an end stop, and it makes me curious to read more. It will never pass into nothingness, but will still keep. Oh golly, I need to know more again. So this third line is also an example of enjambment. I need to know what will keep. A bower quiet for us and asleep, full of sweet dreams and health and quiet breathing. So if you look at this, you'll also again notice that lines 2, 3, and 4 are enjambment. Our fun fact of the day is that the word enjambment comes from a French word that means to put one's leg across or to step over. Just like in this poem, we need to step over from line 2 to 3 to understand what the poem is saying. We need to step over from the end of line 2, it will never, to line 3, pass into nothingness, to understand. Again, why do we use enjambment? Enjambment creates suspense. It causes the reader to want to know more.